Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode here on the Hermitcraft Mesified server. We're in the designated mining area for getting sand, and do you know what? I'm a sucker. I am a sucker because other people come along in this place and they just mine away the easy sand and they leave behind little patches of it like this that are like one tool. And maybe if we look around, look, we can see a little bit right here. And I'm a sucker because I have to mine every little bit of sand. I go around picking up the little bits that are left behind by the other hermits here on the server, and that's just because, I don't know, I've got this instinct to like remove every little bit of sand in the mined areas, right? You're probably wondering though, why are we getting sands? It's because we need sand and gravel and some dyes as well, because Hermitcraft is going to be updating to the latest snapshot today. I was just checking over the bug tracker and there are next to no bugs, and the ones that there are so trivial. It seems like with this update they've just added a few blocks and hardly made any other changes, you know. I say a few, they've added like 48 blocks and some of those can be rotated in different directions. Here you go, look, here's me being a sucker again. I'm getting sand the slow way. What you want to do is go out into the fresh sand and mine tons of it all at once. But yes, they've only added blocks, and so there's no real problems that I can see. So we're going to be updating the server. Hermitcraft will be your canary in the mine. If something goes wrong on here, you'll know not to update your worlds. And if you're thinking of doing it yourself, make sure to make a backup. I have, of course, backed up the Hermitcraft server, and it is all ready to be updated to the latest snapshot. And we're going to start a new project with this as well. But first of all, I'm just stocking up on sand here. Man, the hermits have really hit up this desert as far and wide as you look. There is signs of mining everywhere. It stretches all the way back round to that mountain, which hasn't been touched yet. It's fascinating to see this unfold throughout the season. I probably say that every time I do a little bit of recording over here. So I've got 2 full shulker boxes full of sand, which is terrific. This is probably more than we're ever going to need, by the way. But now what we're going to go and do is get 2 full boxes of gravel, which I've got all stored up over at the Octavoid. Oh, and look at these crazy sandstone formations as well. It's wet. Hi, I've made a new friend. Usually it's rabbits following me about in this place because of my golden carrot. Get out of here, you sucker. Yeah, the sandstone, it's from where the caves come up to the surface. It's kind of crazy. This place is like a treasure trove of lost projects, all these valuable things that have been left behind. Oh, check that out. Sticky pistons and pistons. That's going to be terrific for where we're going. I've just realised that we don't really need 2 shulker boxes of gravel because some of that sand is actually for glass, which we are going to be dyeing black. I'm dropping a hint. Can you guess where we're going to be going? Anyway, the reason that I'm over here, and by the way, this place is the back of the Octavoid. There should be some gravel somewhere around here. I mean, there's loads of shulker boxes, chests and chests, and then even more chests around here. We should be able to find plenty of the stuff. Alright, we are now loaded to the brim with supplies and ready to go. But I've made another one of these chests to put in dyes. I thought dyes would be a useful thing to have. And look at that fancy, whatever that stuff is called again. Unicode, is it? Yeah, it really makes it pop out, although all of them are going to have something fancy like that. So we're storing some dyes in here. What I should probably do is put 4 pieces of dirt in there as well so we can grow those. And then we've got the jungle wood so we can grow cocoa beans if ever we need it. Man, I'm going to sound like a broken record right now. What did I just say I needed? A piece of dirt. 4 pieces of dirt. Yeah, these shulker boxes are such a game changer. Now we kind of walk around with just about everything that we need inside the ender chest. It is absolutely amazing. I'm so glad that they're compatible with the ender chest because that has really been a game changer. Oh man, I'm feeling the changes already. The excitement is real. Can you see what's different? It's the wall down the sides there. That actually caught my attention pretty quickly, and it is very saturated in compared to these other textures. Very bright and bold. Also, let's step through here because Wells Knight has a build on the other side. You see, our little entrance to the end was sort of unfinished for the longest time, and he tore out the old design and built a new one. I was really fond of the old design. I'm fond of this one as well, but now the entire room has been finished. And you got the yin and the yang on the ceiling there. If it isn't clear already, we're heading to the end for our new project. Some of you know what we're going to be getting up to. I've got some black stained glass in my inventory. Oh yeah. So it was a long time ago now that we brought some villagers out here to the end, and we did something kind of hacky, kind of cheaty, using, oh, I can't even remember how we did it, but we basically spawned a portal in the middle of the void, And it's time to start this project. We've got villagers over there for villager breeding, and we've got new blocks to play around. And I think the perfect environment to build something cool would be in this void. So this is my portal, Asuma's Void, as we've called it. And if we hop down here, we're going to go into this new area where there are villagers staring at us. Crazy stuff. So I've been here already, actually. I've been back and forth a couple of times just getting materials together. This goes all the way down to the bottom of the world. Now, kind of hairy to do that, but managed to do it in the end. And what we're going to do is place down some stained glass all the way here at the bottom. And that's going to be our base platform on which we're going to build. Now, I've been thinking about a layout for a base, because that's basically what we're going to be doing out here, is building a new base and a new project. And I've got to say, I'm going to die. I'm going to die by walking off the edge so many times down here. It's kind of scary. That's kind of the point of having this platform as well. I'm not sure if I like that. Maybe I'll rethink this, but my idea is that we'd have like a false platform at this level, which is below the main platform. So if ever you need to break blocks, there's something down below to catch all of that. Yeah, this is going to be like a crazy project, man. It's like there's nothing here. Even when I place the black glass, it kind of feels like you're standing on nothing. Well, that's got me feeling a lot safer down here. We can now actually see where it is we want to go and stand. For a temporary platform, I don't want to be second guessing where the glass is. When we've actually constructed our base though, everything will be designed so that you can't just walk off the glass and fall into the void, right? So with this being a work area, what it could probably do with is some extra light down here so it's nice and visible as well. I think we're going to use this in the build palette. Now that's one of the things I pictured myself doing, was creating the build palette for our build down here. But it actually takes a fair bit of work to place down these slabs, and then you've got to rip them up again. So I don't feel like there's going to be an adequate area in which to figure out what it is we're going to build here. But we are creating the foundations for our base, and so we need to come up with a decent build palette. So we've got a fresh, brand new creative world to build in, but we want to build in the same environment, so I'm going to show you the quick way to get to the end. We need to use the set block commands, then we use to press tab 3 times and then type in end_p. That'll give you the end portal and you can plop yourself down into this. So we're now in the end. There's an end dragon here which we don't want, so we need to kill it, and we use this command right here. Kill at E, type not player. Bam! Say goodbye to the Ender Dragon, and the next thing we want to do is teleport to a new location. Okay, that will do nicely. 300 blocks away, we're going to be down at the bottom of the world, just like on Hermitcraft, and then we're going to use the set block command once again, except we're going to use 3 squiggles like this, and then just type in something like stone, and bam! There we go, we're in the right environment and ready to start building. So I've been goofing around for a bit, and I think this right here might be our build palette. Now we are limited by the materials that we have available to us in the end at the moment. I think quartz would probably look really good alongside some of these blocks because it's very clean and bright, which could look nice against the dark colours. But going all the way to the Nether to hunt for quartz and coming all the way back to the end will end up being extremely tedious. So I think we're going to go with this here. And what I've been messing around with is 2 different concepts. One of them is to have a ceiling above every walkway, because we're going to have walkways that are going to lead to different parts of the project here. And this is kind of alright. It's growing on me the more I see it and the more I work on this other style, but it means you've always got to have glass right above your head, because Enderman can spawn in this dimension, and they're going to spawn absolutely everywhere they get the opportunity to. So because of that, we either need to have glass or slabs or blocks like sea lanterns, which they don't spawn on, and it's really important that we get that right, because otherwise they'll start teleporting all over the place. So in this scenario, and I've just realised I made a little bit of a mistake here, you would be able to walk along the glass, which looks really cool because it's above the void. Then we've got some slabs which they won't be able to spawn on. You can also walk on there. That creates a little bit of barrier between ourselves and the wall, and you can see here using the terracotta block that we've sort of matched it up with the purple, which is a great colour to use in the end because they just happen to be the same. And unfortunately that's not the same for all of these terracotta blocks. They don't always line up with the concrete colour, so that's a logo we're probably going to end up using a fair bit. And then over on this side I've also included this as well, so it can have slabs on to stop the Enderman spawning, but I've just realised it also needs something there as well. So maybe it could have a trim of glass, which looks kind of odd, or maybe it has slabs again. Actually no, that would need to be 1 block higher, and that looks equally odd. Alright, we're going to try a beacon here in the end, and directly above this beacon is bedrock. So will we get a beam? Yes, because beacon beams can go through bedrock. Not very logical, right? We should actually head up here for a second and check out the villagers, because I've moved them. You can see they've been squashed into a very small space. That was about the best that I could do, and I don't think they do a lot of pathfinding or wandering around up here, because there isn't too many blocks to look at. I don't think it works. We just got a purple beam from that, didn't we? Also, this is in the wrong space. That's supposed to be over by 1 block, so it can go through the portal as well. Yes, what was I saying? I always get distracted. Villagers, I don't think they pathfind to glass. Oh yes, that would happen, wouldn't it? I was in the middle of processing some of the concrete, and this is what I was going to talk about actually. I completely forgot that we needed to do this. You have to turn the powder into concrete using water, and now Endermen have spawned over everything, which is typical. This is something that I'm going to end up doing a lot, which is why I wanted to set up the beacon and see if we could instant mine them. There we go, the beacon beam goes through the right one now. And I think we're probably actually going to need haste 2 if we're to break this instantly. Let's see how it does with haste 1. No, only makes us a little bit faster. So we might be able to instant mine that with a full-size beacon. What a janky looking beacon this is. Covered it in glass because Endermen are going to spawn in it. And you know, it's really good to have this here actually, because yeah, working in this new base we're going to want a beacon quite often really with the projects that I got in mind. Let's throw this thing down. Let's find out if it's going to instant mine. Oh, that's not my pick. That's my bow. Ah, not quite. Unfortunate. My goodness me, that glass is ugly, and I didn't really think too much ahead. Our platform goes right above here, so these 2 bits are kind of redundant for blocking Enderman spawning. I'm thinking what we might just do is make a giant iron cube. So from this area up top, you look down and that's what you see, and the beacon's in the middle. And it just happens to line up with the floor, which I want to be at this height, which is, well, we're Y6, but that is Y5 right there. And this is where we're going to have our corridors going in 4 different directions. But we're going to focus on the tower that goes up to the top first of all. And we're going to try and make use of some of the blocks that we've taken a look at already. The glazed terracotta. So I've been getting myself some of this grey concrete powder. And in here we've got some of this. I could probably do with a few more of those really. And some of the black stuff as well to get started. So let's get this all organised in the inventory. And pull out the last of those. Right, so in the corners we're going to have these pillars going all the way up to the very top, and we're going to alternate them like this. We're going to go that direction, this direction, that direction, this direction, and that'll be 1 in each and every corner leading up. Then on the sides of these is where we're going to have, well, that's the wrong the wrong thing right there, isn't it? That's the powder. Where's the concrete? The slightly darker stuff, that's the way that you find it. Right, this stuff's going to go alongside it. And then we're going to have a gap, and there will be water flowing down behind there, and then it starts again, and then in this corner you're going to have another one of those pillars. It's going to be mirrored all the way around. Now what I was about to build next actually wouldn't be relevant at the bottom here, because as I must remember, this is going to be like a corridor, an intersection where you go in 4 different directions. So it will start at the next bit above, so there will be more of this, or there won't, because it's going to start at the next bit. These Endermen, man, where are they coming from? I've been here the whole time. I don't think I've been more than 24 blocks away from this edge, but somehow they're here, and we want to grab some of this because we're going to start to use carpet to block spawns as well. So around the back of these pillars, there's going to be a little bit of space for the Enderman to spawn. So I put some carpet on top of that. So now what we want to do is build our pillar all the way up, and when we do that, unfortunately, we're going to leave this place down here for Enderman to spawn on. So I'm going to see how bad it gets and then decide what I want to do about it, because building everything up a little bit at a time might be quite tricky. See, here's the problem. I want to alternate these, but it's going to be an absolute pain to figure out which way you've alternated them. So these pillars need to be 46 blocks tall, and that is a long way to go up. And I think I placed that one wrong as well. This is going to make me dizzy as well. And there you go, I was about to say it, they're going to start spawning because we've just gone 24 blocks away from that area. And there could potentially be a lot of them because it's down in the lowest parts of the world. And let's keep going here. Hopefully I haven't messed that up. I decided that rather than going back and forth, let's go round in a circle. And that might look more interesting. It also might not look nowhere near as good. And this seems to be just about the correct spot. So we can put that there, jump down onto this platform. I like that, actually. Going around in circles gives it a bit more of a cohesive pattern. Ooh, using fancy language there. And now we've got loads of Endermen to deal with. Uh-oh. I'm not sure how I'm going to get rid of these guys. We are going to change the direction this episode because I have just realised that turning powder into concrete is a very slow process. So much so that I've come all the way back here to my base just to make sure I can craft all the stuff I need for this build. And it's a ton of resources and it's taken up a ton of time. So I figured that actually what we need to do is focus on getting these done efficiently, which means we should probably build some sort of redstone contraption to help us turn it into concrete and break it as well. Well, there's one place I can think of building this project, and it looks like the area's been spruced up. Now, this is classic false style here. I don't think I even need to double guess on that one. Yeah, so the bridge over here was also built by False. We knew that already, but it looks like she's been sprucing up this area a little bit because I noticed that there's more trees and such in the area, and there's still that hideous contraption laying around from when me and Iskal were redstoning over here. Yeah, check it out. These trees are lovely. And there's a pond over here as well. That's really cool. So we're going to pick a spot in this area, and probably the best way to see it would be to get up high. Having flown around a few times now, this little patch here in the middle looks really nice. This area on this side is kind of bare, and I think the spot I want to pick is just over here, where the orange clay is next to the DNA helix and the diamond over there. So having played around with this a bit already, it's going to be pretty easy this beginning bit, because I think I can remember how I did it the other day when I was checking out the snapshot. You want downwards flowing water like that, and then you want a piston to push the blocks in a particular direction, but we want to automatically power that piston as well. So, and I wasn't supposed to break both of those, just the one in the middle. If we put a piece of redstone here and this gets powered, then it's going to power the piston. The way we're going to power that redstone is with a repeater. Behind it we should have a power source, and then we've got to place our powder. We're going to place the powder there, it's going to turn into a solid block and then get pushed out. Thing is, I didn't actually bring any of the stuff with me. Alright then, so what we're going to do is place it right there, and it pushes it out in front of us. Now we should be able to stand here and just hold right click. And I tell you what, it goes a lot faster than that in single player, because we've got to wait for the server, right? So it successfully made a whole line of them very quickly. I guess the next step now is to then detect the one arriving at the end and go ahead and use like a piston to push it out in another direction. Alright, moment of truth. But not really, because that's kind of exactly what I expected to happen. So you saw there that one activated first, which might be a bad thing in the long run. Oh, I've accidentally swapped my hands around. There we go. So we might make that a slab or something like. But it's really simple stuff, you know. That's now going to push them all up. However, we have a slight problem here. This needs to be wired different. Good old detector block. Apparently I've made a clock with this. And then it'll be a clock because of the piston head. Oh, maybe that's not the way to do it then. That's a bit of a shame. Oh man, for a moment there I thought we might have to build this contraption up in the sky and have the pistons push downwards. But what we got here I think is a rising edge detector, or maybe it's a falling edge. Rising makes sense to me because it's when this turns on that it works. Anyway, let me show you in action. There you go, does exactly what we want it to, right? Now I think this thing blinks twice or maybe 3 times. Let's watch it. No, it's twice. So when you place the block and then when the piston extends, I think that's the first bit of redstone, and the second bit is when this falls down. However, this only activates once when that happens. So that means we're good to do the next bit, which is going to be a massive wall of pistons, which then push in this direction. Well, these pistons are going to be a pain in the backside to place because you sort of want to be like this when you place them. But then it's going to face downwards, which is not what we want. So I think I'm just going to steadily fill this thing up as I go along. And yeah, that's how it is now, but it won't do this until you've filled it up fully. That's another thing to mention. Once this thing pushes as far as it can, it's kind of broken. So at that point, you have to then go and mine away all the blocks. So if I stand here, it'll push it all the way across. Then I have to climb on top of the blocks I've just placed, place some pistons, and then come back down here again. Right, so we've got a bit of a problem, and that is counting to 10. 1, 2, 3. You'll see what happens in a moment. Once we place 10 of these, it stops because there's a little bit of delay down the end there. And now what we need to do is provide this piston with an update to tell it that it's powered. And it will push along just nicely. So I think the way to do this is, well, actually, I've got an idea that's not so great. We could put two hoppers like this facing into each other, so basically a clock, put an item on the inside, and then we'll need a comparator, which I do believe I have somewhere in these chests. Isn't it good that we found all of those pistons today, because I haven't had to craft any yet. So this, I believe, provides an update to that piston if it's powered. So let's do a quick check. We've got to count to 10 again. I think that was 5 so far. Oh, the server's being a little bit better at the moment. Okay, and no, that doesn't provide it with an update. Then again, did the server just crash? That's really odd. Okay. These need to be placed slightly different. Well, we can still do the same test. We've just got to not update the piston by mistake. If you didn't figure out what I was aggravated by, this block is powered, so it's going to stop the clock from working. Okay, so we'll put an item inside. And did it? Yep, look at that. It activated the piston. Cool. So then what we could do is add a pressure plate here on a redstone torch, and then that could lock this when you're not standing on the pressure plate. I believe this thing can push one block higher, but I figured that we'll just cap it there because we might run into an issue when it pushes all the way to the top. I'm not sure. Anyway, same situation as what we've got down below is what we're going to use here. So we're going to detect this block, get one redstone signal from it, and send that into all of these pistons. And that also means it's going to activate this one here, which is exactly why we need this circuit. Now, when it comes to powering all of these, I think it's really quite simple. You need a line like this every other block and then redstone on it, because that block is going to power this piston and the one here. So then what we have at this side, coming from the bottom up, or actually going from the top downwards, which might be tricky with the redstone, it's basically a redstone signal, and then that's going to point into repeaters which power these blocks, and they've all got redstone on going from one side to the other. It should be fairly simple, and whenever I say that, usually things go wrong. Well, I accidentally activated it, and yes, it pushes out 2 at once, so we know that bit works of the contraption. So getting the signal down is only really a problem if you want it to be one wide, otherwise we make a spiral. And that one there's got a repeater on top of it, so it's going to power that block and power what's underneath it. So I think that means we're doing 2 at once there, so we can do 2 at once here as well. We just need a block there and a repeater. And this doesn't go down very far, so the redstone signal shouldn't run out as well, which is really cool. So that's been nice and simple. I did have a feeling that bit would be complex, but maybe not. So is this where the next repeater goes? And I believe that might be it. Yes, that would be it, wouldn't it? Okay. Excellent. Right, we've got to give this thing a test now. Okay, you're going to be watching me from up there for a moment, because this thing is about to go to the next step. And there's this really weird problem where I open the chest that's behind the piston when I'm holding down right click. And bam, there you go. It pushes all of the blocks out. That's so cool. Check it out. We got ourselves an almost giant cube. It's not quite a cube shape. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, that thing's going to be turned into a tower in the end that doesn't seem to be too much bigger than the space of this, yet this thing is filled in with blocks. I might have terribly miscalculated how many blocks we need for our build, but there they are, all in place. And now we can jump up on there and mine it. One thing has come to mind though, which is that mobs will be able to spawn on the top of there. Now, because the player is standing here, that's probably not going to be over 24 blocks away. But it'll probably be a good idea to throw some glowstone up there at some point anyway. And we'll probably come back here again and turn this into a proper project that's accessible for other players on the server as well. But as of right now, I'm going to get up there with my pick and I'm going to mine all of these blocks. Well, that's it. Every block mined, and to give you an idea of how long that took, I think it took longer to place all the blocks and mine them than it did to put this contraption together. I love these new blocks, but if you want to build with them in bulk, there is a little bit of a grind beforehand to put them together, which I'm not so sure how I feel about. It's alright. I really like that you've got this mechanic with the water to change the block from one type to another, but it is just a little bit slow. Slow to convert them all. This will make for an interesting development, but I just came through the portal and ended up here instead of on that block. Got a feeling actually that might be interfering with it, you know, and then probably any block we put above it to stop Enderman spawning. But then we could put carpet on it, and remove that because apparently you can spawn on carpet. Well, I thought I had some in inventory, but I don't. It might be in my ender chest. Anyway, we're back here in the end, and that's all I've got time for, unfortunately. So, as we go down this ladder right here, I shall say goodbye. If you've enjoyed the episode, please do leave a like as always. Thank you so much for your support, and we'll be back here in the next episode working on this project all over again. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.